Hey family, welcome back to Dominate Your Potential. Today is a bit different. This is episode 10. Now that this is a huge milestone for me and for us. Now, why does that matter? Because, here's something most people don't know. Around 90% of podcasts never make it past episode 3, and of the ones that do, most stop again before episode 20. So for me, this is a huge milestone, from having a dream, having a goal, and just having the resilience to dream, to act on the dream, and to beat the odds, just to show up, basically. So it is a big deal. It's a celebratory episode today, because if you're listening to episode 10 right now, it means this show has already outlived a lot of great ideas that never made it past the first few trials. And that's what this episode is about: resilience, dreaming, beating the odds, showing up, which is most important. So this thing is not just in podcasting, this business of showing up and just dreaming big and beating the odds. It's about things that happen in life. It's your family, your calling. This is a celebration episode, yes. Not because everything is perfect. Far be it from perfect. I'm still learning. I'm still making mistakes as I go. I'm learning as I go. I've never had a podcast before per se, but because you and I are still here, we're still learning and we move forward. John C. Maxwell says you have got to fail forward. Les Brown has a saying as well that says that anything that's worth doing is worth doing badly the first time until you get it right. The whole point is to get started and keep on keeping on. So today I want to share some honest stories really from this podcast and from life where resilience didn't look glamorous, to celebrate the fact that you've been more resilient than you realize and help you decide how you're going to keep showing up when the buzz wears off and it's just you, your calling, and God. Let's start at the beginning. You see, the quiet start. That was episode 1, and the fear of nobody listening. That was me. Before episode 1 of this podcast went live, it lived as a battle really in my mind for a long time. It's been years, a lot of years. Me saying I wanted to do a podcast, but I was afraid. I didn't have the courage, the boldness to really sit and press a record. I was not confident enough, as it were. That feeling when you sense God is nudging you to do something, to start, speak and write, and you also hear this other voice, saying, who do you think you are? No one is going to listen. The world doesn't need another podcast. That type of a thing. That is the battles that I had to face. Now, statistics when it comes to podcasting, I'm really proud of myself for having had the courage to start. You see, because and now it's episode 10. That's huge. You see, because statistics, they say almost half of podcasts die before episode 3. That's sad. Yeah, that's a sad reality. And that's not because people are lazy. Often it's because resistance hits harder than expected. Yes, resistance hits harder than expected. And so most people then decide to quit. Like when I sat down to record episode 1 of Dominate Your Potential, it was just me and a very cheap microphone. It's not a big brand. It's just something that I bought very cheap because I just wanted a lapel mic of some sort because I didn't have a budget for it, but I just needed to get started. And a very loud inner critic. That's what I had. I remember hitting record, talking, and then deleting, talking, and then deleting again. I thought maybe my accent is too strong. My thoughts aren't polished enough. What if the people who know me think this is ridiculous and is cringe? Now, have you ever been there where maybe it's not a podcast in your case, maybe it's the first Instagram post sharing your testimony, the step back into church, and after being away for a while and you wanting to go back, the first email asking for help. It could be anything that resonates with you regarding your story. Now, this is the thing. Starting is vulnerable, and it's important to know that you don't have to overestimate that which you can do in a year and underestimate what you can do in 5 years. Yes, so what happened with me, what really helped me that day, wasn't thinking about thousands of listeners. It was thinking about one person, one man, one woman, one young person who might be driving, scrolling, or washing dishes, whatever, feeling stuck in self-defeating thinking and needing to hear, you're not crazy, you're not alone, your story isn't over. So I changed that question from what if nobody listens to what if there is one person I'm supposed to serve with this and I stay silent, which reminds me of Dr. Miles Monroe and one of his teachings. He said that he was talking to authors, aspiring authors, and why people should write a book. And they say this statement, which was so profound, talking about why you should write a book. Basically, in this case, why you should do what you need to do, pertaining the knowledge that you have. You are saying that the knowledge that you have from your life experience, like if you do not share that knowledge, if you don't share it with people, you become what is called a generational thief, because you are going to go to the grave with that knowledge, with that information, and deprive society of your gifting, of your calling, of your contribution. So this hits hard. Like, I do not want to be what is called a generational thief. I decided I will start small, I'll start imperfect. Nonetheless, I will start. That question pushed me over the line, really, to hit record. I hit record. Yes, I did speak and I spoke. I edited and I sought help. There's a friend, a colleague, he's my mentor, Dave. He is the host of the podcast, the How to Podcast. Got a series of eight podcasts, over 2,000 episodes that he has recorded. And he helps me, and I uploaded, and the next day I checked the stats. No viral spike, no big explosion, a small handful of plays. All right. But then a message came in from someone who said that episode was exactly what I needed today. Now, that did something, you understand, to me. It showed me that what I'm doing, it matters. If I can reach one person, it's enough. You see, that's resilience in seed form, doing what God has asked you to do, even when the numbers are small and the response is quiet, but you keep on keeping on. And if this is episode 10, it means you've stuck with me. We have pushed past the episode 3 graveyard together. That's not just my resilience, that's yours too. You see. Now let's zoom out from podcasting to life. there's a story that I want to share. Like there's this lady that had a dream of starting her own small business, wanting to be a billionaire, dreaming big, as it were. I was speaking in Birmingham sometime in 2023. Yes, so after the talk, some people, they came and said that was a great talk, as it were. And this lady said, it is wonderful, it is great to hear someone who speaks like this, because I thought maybe I was crazy because I want to be a billionaire, but to hear you speak like that boldly about being a millionaire, wanting to be a millionaire, wanting to be a billionaire, which means I'm also in the right wavelength. And then a few months later, she acted on a dream. She was advertising an event that she wanted to host going forward. And she sent me a message saying, thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for the motivation. You see, that's powerful. You see, like the impact that you may have on people, don't underestimate it, you see, because she had the idea for years. And every new year she will say, this is the year I start. Every December she will say, it just wasn't the right time. One day, maybe one day I'll start. But that very day, she received the push. You see, she received the push and the inspiration and the courage. He said, Milton, dreaming is starting to feel expensive. It hurts every time I hope and then do nothing. But, maybe that feeling. She then acted on it, that feeling. She acted on it as I spoke and I shared on goal setting, as I shared that you have to dream big, dream behind your circumstances, look into the future. What is it that you want to become? That's small, but doesn't mean that you are small. You see, because dreams are not cheap per se. You understand? Because they cost you time, emotional energy, risk, and the possibility of looking foolish. That's okay. That's okay. It doesn't matter what they think, whoever thinks whatever. If they are not laughing at your dream is too small. So she is now doing what she loves. She is now doing what she intended to do, and she couldn't be happier. You understand? That's wonderful. So the pain of showing up is real, but it's nothing compared to the pain of staying stuck. Now, resilience doesn't always look like a big comeback montage with dramatic music. No, sometimes resilience is choosing not to abandon the dream God put in your heart. Yes, being faithful with the lately, because you will be faithful with month. Even when it feels slow, even when it doesn't impress anybody, even when your bank account is like, are you sure? Are you sure? That's it. Dreaming with God means accepting that He cares more about who you become while pursuing the dream. You understand? Than the image of success you are chasing. It's more about working on being, working on being, becoming. Is the journey, is the process, who you become in the process. It's part of character building. This lady has not arrived. She's still learning, but she's no longer just wishing. She's walking, and that is beating the odds. You see, let's bring in some ancient stories from long back. Like there's a story about a guy called Joseph, who was betrayed by his brothers, sold as a slave, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. If anyone had the right to say, I'm done, God, it was Joseph. Yet in each place, Potiphar's house, the prison, Pharaoh's court, he showed up, he served, interpreted dreams, he stayed faithful, and eventually God used him to save nations from famine. You see, Joseph had a gift. he had a gift that was he was able to interpret dreams. So when he was in prison, there was one prisoner that he was with who served at the lane ruler Pharaoh of Egypt. And this guy had a dream, and Joseph was able to interpret the dream, and it came to pass as Joseph had interpreted. And Joseph was like, you know what? Since you are now going out, remember me. Please tell Pharaoh. Please remember me. But then the guy, when he was out, he forgot about Joseph. And years went by. Then one day Pharaoh had a dream. And then he remembered, oh, there's this guy when I was in prison that interpreted my dream. That is how Joseph then came out, as he was able to interpret the dream for Pharaoh. You see, for Joseph, resilience in his story looked like continuing to trust God's character when life made no sense. I mean, he knew he was gifted. However, it didn't make sense because he was in prison for something that he had not done, using his gift even in unfair places. Now, there is another 21st century writer called Paul. You see, he wrote, "We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed." That's powerful. That's resilience. He was honest about the pressure, honest about confusion, but anchored in the truth. God has not left me. And ultimately, we look at Jesus. Hebrews 12 says, "For the joy set before him, he endured the cross." Say, looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising its shame, and is now seated at the right hand of the Father. He didn't enjoy the cross, he endured it. He endured it. Resilience for him meant staying on mission when the pain was at its highest. Here's what all of this means for you. Resilience is not pretending you're okay. Resilience is trusting that God is still at work and continuing to take faith steps, being faithful in chaos, being faithful in uncertainty, even when you're tired, confused, or disappointed. If you've had a year of delayed dreams, for example, a year of closed doors, a year of quiet progress no one sees, that does not mean you lack resilience. It might mean God is building the kind of resilience that can carry the weight of what you've been asking for all along. Now, this is supposed to be a celebratory episode and your hidden wins, right? So why make episode 10 a celebration? Because in podcasting, just like in life, most things don't fall or don't fail rather because they were a bad idea. They fail because people stop showing up. So you just have to keep showing up. The stats say 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 3. Most of the remaining shows never reach episode 20. To get to episode 10, like, you need not just inspiration, but discipline. Not just ideas, but follow through. Not just passion, but resilience. The same is true for your dreams. If you stayed in the marriage, working on it, not just coexisting, that's resilience. If you stayed in the ministry or business when results were slow, that's resilience. If you stayed in the fight for your mental health, opening up, seeking help, that's resilience. You might feel like, Milton, I'm not where I thought I will be by now. But can we take a moment right now to celebrate the fact that you're still in the arena? You're listening to personal growth content when you could be numbing out. You're still curious, which is great. You're still willing to learn, open to learning, being a lifelong learner, student to life. That alone is a sign that God is not finished with you. Yes. So here's what I want you to do later today. Write down 3 things you've come through this year that the old you will never have survived. Just 3 things that you've overcome that the old will never have survived. Thank God. Thank Him out loud for each one. And then say this by faith. If you brought me through that, you can bring me through what's ahead. That's right. Today is not just a celebration of my episode 10. It's a celebration of your episodes. The chapters of your story where you didn't give up. And I just want to share with you how you can keep showing up in the midst of a storm. Let's get practical for a moment. How do you actually keep showing up when you are tired? The dream looks far away. The odds look bad. It's not easy. It's very difficult, but then you need to be focused. And here are 3 simple commitments you can make going into the next season. Just choose consistency over intensity. Don't promise yourself 5 huge things you can't sustain. Ask, what is the smallest consistent action that moves this dream forward? How do you build a wall? 1 brick after another. For the podcast, it was record, edit, publish, even if it's not perfect. Most people don't do things because of wanting to be perfect, and that slows them down. Maybe for you, it might be 20 minutes a day on the book, the business, the study, the gym, the prayer life. I don't know what it is. And then let community hold you up. Even Jesus had Simon of Cyrus help carry his cross. Who are the 1, 2, 3 people who know your dream and can ask, how is it going? Accountability. Tell them, if you don't see me moving on this by date, message me. You need a community, you need to be accountable. For me, my son keeps asking, Daddy, have you recorded the next episode? He asked me, have you recorded? And I say, no, I'm yet to record. I'll be recording. And then he comes, have you finished recording? He keeps asking, have you recorded? That's my community. And then you measure the right things. Early on, I measure the success of this podcast only by downloads. I might have stopped at episode 3. Instead, I measured, did I show up? Did I give value? Did I obey what God put on my heart? For your dream, measure faithfulness and growth, not just external applause. You see, resilience is built in these small daily choices. And you are on to something. You have to keep on keeping on. Keep on moving forward. I believe in you. I believe in your future. I believe in your dreams. Don't quit. Don't give up. You have got something special. You've got greatness within you. And as I celebrate episode 10, and as we close episode 10, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for sharing moments of your journey with me. And thank you for letting my voice and my story be part of what God is doing in your life. If this episode encouraged you, just share it with someone who is close to quitting, someone who needs to hear that making it to episode 10 is a big deal. Making it to episode 10 in anything is a big deal. And to further enhance your strength and courage, my book, Dominate Your Potential, Break Free from Self-Defeating Thinking, is now out. It's live on Amazon. The link is on the description. Get yourself a copy and you'll be very much inspired. I'm so grateful for those who have purchased the copy of the book and the reviews are just amazing. They're just outstanding, and it gives me such joy because it took me time to write the book and to hear that it's helping people to do that is what is intended. So just grab yourself a copy and take your resistance to the next level. From here, the goal is simple. Keep dreaming big. Keep dreaming with God. Keep beating the odds, one obedience at a time. Keep showing up even when no one is clapping. Remember, most people stop at episode 3. You've already made it further than that. In podcasting and in life, don't just admire your potential, dominate it. Yeah? Thank you so much, and God bless you. See you on the next episode.